How do vampires live in the world of Twilight? Most Twilight vampires are nomadic. They travel from place to place and they don't stay in one spot too long or in one community, one town, anywhere where there's a lot of humans. They don't stay there too long for the simple reason that the Volturi may catch wind that they are exposing themselves. Because if vampires stay in one place too long, a lot of humans disappear. Suddenly there's missing persons cases and victims and things like that. If it happens too often in one isolated location or one town, the Volturi considers that exposure. Something vampires must also consider is the details that humans will notice, the differences in vampires. The pale face, their abilities may sometimes become apparent. And of course, the little detail that they do not age. Months, years will go by, and humans will notice if they remain in a community that they do not age. So the preferable lifestyle for vampires in the world of Twilight is for them just to be nomadic. They don't run into trouble with the Volturi. Exposure does not become an issue. Now, in some cases, there are exceptions. The primary exception, of course, being the Cullens. They don't hunt humans. They only feed off animals. So they can live quite harmoniously in the town of Forks or wherever else they travel without being concerned that the humans in the area will disappear or will become an issue among humans because they keep to themselves and they do not hunt humans. So the Volturi has no reason to zero in on the Cullens. And they also have a policy that if anyone notices anything peculiar about their clan, they pick up immediately and leave. Edward Cullen helps in this regard because he can read humans' minds. So if any human says, hey, they seem like very strange creatures, I don't think they're human, I saw one of them move quite quickly, whatever the case may be, they just pack up and move. So they can remain in one spot for years and years in the same location and live quite harmoniously in the community, just by the simple fact that they do not hunt humans. Of course, they do have to consider that they do not age. So they last as long as they can, but then eventually they have to move any community they choose to install themselves because they do not age. Of course, the Cullens also have another rule that they abide by, is that they keep to themselves. There will be rumors and whispers about them. What a strange family. But they generally keep to themselves. They may go to school, but they don't have a lot of friends at school. Carlisle, he is a doctor that everyone respects, but he doesn't exactly socialize or go to picnics. So, by keeping to themselves, they keep secrets. Humans don't notice the differences. The eyes, how they change color. They may notice that they look so pale, things like that, but they don't become close enough for humans to notice anything unusually significant about them. I can't help but remember how Edward entirely violated this rule by spending so much time with Bella. Both in the movie and the books, the plot touches on this. In the movie, Bella, he starts becoming friendly and talking to her and chatting. And she tells him, hey, your eyes were black the last time I saw you. Now they're gold. And he immediately turns and walks away because he reminds himself, I'm breaking the rules here. And becoming friends with her, and now she's noticing this little peculiarity about my eyes. In the books, Twilight and Midnight Sun, they really drive home the point. Rosalie and the family, his siblings, are very upset. They figure, why is he spending so much time with Bella at lunch? In Midnight Sun, Edward even talks more about this, how unhappy the family is that he is becoming so close to Bella. She's going to guess the truth, or she's going to obviously see that Edward is not human. Of course, it's kind of out of the bag already, being the fact that she saw him perform superhuman strength to save her life and speed. So the secret was already kind of out. The exceptions, of course, is the obvious one, would be the Volturi. They have remained in the same location in Italy for hundreds of years, and they are not going anywhere anytime soon. They don't, however, hunt humans in their vicinity. Not in that town. That town is considered the safest place, Volterra, safest place for humans on the globe. because none of the Volturi hunt anyone in Volterra. The other exception is the Denali Coven. They live harmoniously in the vicinity. Now, they did hunt humans at one point, but they decided to become vegetarians. So they hunt animals. So that's one of the reasons they can remain in the same community, because they do not actually hunt humans. And they live isolated enough, and they travel when it's necessary, so no one notices that they remain unchanged and beautiful for years and years and years on end. I am a bit curious about Benjamin and his father, who created him, and Benjamin's wife. They're a type of coven, and they kind of have installed themselves in Egypt, but Benjamin's father is very careful not to expose Benjamin to the Volturi, so he does keep a low profile. He's not, maybe someone could let me in on this. I don't believe he's nomadic. I do believe he stays in one spot, but he keeps a low profile, so I am guessing he's very careful about the way he hunts. So yes, vampires in Twilight are nomadic, except for, of course, the Denali clan, the Volturi, possibly Benjamin's clan, and of course the Cullens. They have a permanent residence in Forks.